Well, hello everyone. Let's start with our conference, Fanaticism. And Mythomania. Well, Fanaticism and Mythomania are two different psychological defects that all of us have without exception. Right? Uh, all of us are followers of something or of someone. Right? Talking about sports, talking about politics, talking about spiritual beliefs, and so on. All right. Uh, the worst of these two different psychological defects is the one of mythomania. Okay, during the first part of this conference, we'll analyze this reality in our mankind. All right, because as it's been told, all of us have this typical psychological defect inside, all right? And then during the second part, we establish the transfer to understand better this one, which is the second step after being a fanatic, all right? The second stage after being fanatic. Well, let's start with this one. When we talk about fanaticism, the fanatic is the person that shows and manifests too much zeal for a belief. It does not matter what is the belief. We'll be talking about the spiritual or religious fanaticism today, which is the one that matters for our studies. Too much zeal for a belief, right? It goes in contrast to the opposite of this behavior, which is tolerance, right? It is necessary to learn to be tolerant, all right? Fortunately, religions exist. Fortunately, religions exist. Millions of people all around the world need religions, right? And we should learn to respect their beliefs. In my case, I was in two different religions before of arriving to the knowledge, to this knowledge, right? But in my case, I needed those steps, those stages in my life for finally understanding a little better, a bit better, spiritual things, spiritual matters, right? Remember, we should analyze, we should reflect on this word, tolerance, respect for others' beliefs. Who we are to criticize or to judge others' beliefs, especially when we talk about spiritual beliefs, religious beliefs. We are nobody to judge, to criticize others' beliefs, alright? Even if we become someday, hopefully sooner than later, authentic spiritual masters, with more sense, with more heart, we are going to respect others' beliefs. Alright? When we talk about respect, At the same time, we're talking about wisdom. We're talking about love. And obviously, we're talking about tolerance. Right? Anyway, there are some details to detect about fanaticism, alright? Because all of us, without exception, as I said during the very beginning of this conference, all of us have this specific psychological defect in our psyche. So, knowing the different details accurately of what is it will work in a better way to advance objectively in our own esoteric work. Alright? Religions in our Earth planet are a need. Not only are a reality, but also they are a need. Right? Please remember this word. Respect others' beliefs. Right? Now, when we receive the knowledge, for example, this spiritual knowledge, the revolution of the consciousness, which is about the three factors of the revolution of the consciousness, we already know what to do, right? There is an open path immediately as soon as we receive this knowledge. Two ways as soon as we receive the knowledge. We make the decision of practicing it, which is the reason we are offering, sharing all this information. Or we continue with the path of being only intellectuals about all these practices, all these teachings. And it's up to us. It's up to us. If we feel from the bottom of our hearts that we want to change the way of our lives, the path of our lives, our destinies, we'll start practicing. We don't lose anything. We may achieve more than we thought previously or before. Only practice makes perfect. But also we should respect all those that don't want to practice it. All those that only want to build more theories about even this information, this knowledge. For all those that only want to put it in their minds. That's possible. That's a reality. And the 90% and something else of all those who arrive to this knowledge only put it in their minds. We should respect that decision, right? But anyway, only practitioners will achieve, will seek the authentic freedom, the self-purification, their own total and radical purification, right? So when we arrive to the knowledge, we know that only through practice it's possible to prove it. Right? Now, believers think that only by interiorizing and memorizing information, many of them are already saved. Right? They are moved, fanatics are moved by two capital defects, causal defects. Number one, laziness. They don't like to practice. They only feel and think and believe that only by memorizing a lot of information about all these topics, spiritual, religious matters, they are already safe, and at the same time, they are also moved by the defect of envy. The second capital defect that moves all fanatics is envy. When there is a sincere, a serious person that wants to practice to prove all the different teachings, information accurately of what they taught, of what they currently teach, they don't like that attitude, that mindset. That's why they prefer to criticize, to judge others, trying to be an obstacle in their own path. That's why this is not something about knowing, but about proving, about changing from the inside. That's only possible when we practice the three different factors of the revolution of the consciousness. Why? If we honestly want to get, to achieve, to seek the authentic happiness, the authentic freedom to be connected permanently and for the rest of our lives with the highest law of the universe, which is love, it's necessary to firstly and gradually delete the ego. And it's only possible through the psychological death. Self-observation, to detect the different inner reactions emotionally, mentally, sexually, instinctively, and so on. And then the inner petition to your Divine Mother, mentally, you'll detect your ego. And inside of our ego is trapped the essence, right? That essence is wisdom. That essence is love. That essence is called also tolerance. So the first factor is psychological death. Second factor, that essence already released through the psychological death, and it requires our sincere and serious effort to feel the change psychologically, emotionally, physically, sexually, mentally. That sense will be put in our spine through sexual alchemy, transmutation of sexual energies, to the partner of the opposite sex only, and to feel that inner strength, that impulse that will lead us, will guide us during our process. It's necessary to share all this information for free, without any interest. That's called sacrifice for mankind. Sacrifice for mankind. It is sharing all this information for free, literally, without exception, to every single person, if possible. It'll give us Dharma, spiritual Dharma, that inner strength that will impulse us to continue with our esoteric work. Alright? And it is only for practitioners. Intellectuals, anyway, don't like practice. Alright? They put themselves in parts of all those religions or groups where they appear, like for example, they're real hierarchies, real authorities to teach spiritual matters. Right? Something else very important to understand, to analyze about all these things is that all of us carry inside something called false feeling of self. false feeling of self. What does it mean? What does the false feeling of self mean? It means that we feel that we are good people. And that is the worst if we honestly want to start to walk seriously, objectively, successfully the path of the self-realization of the consciousness. When we feel we are good people, due to different reasons. For example, number one, because we like all these matters and others not. Number two, probably we feel and we believe on appearance. Number three, we feel we are good people, probably because we belong to a specific group, organization, religion, that apparently is the best, specifically talking about all these spiritual matters or religious matters. That false feeling of self is also produced probably because we feel that if we are rich people, we are okay. Alright? Have we read too many books about the spiritual things? Do we honestly believe that only by memorizing different aspects, elements, points, dates, names, places, about all these topics, we know a lot? Have we proved it? Or haven't we proved all that yet? Only practitioners find and achieve and deserve and have the merits to know the history of the mankind objectively and to upload all the serious and real information from the higher dimensions of the universe. This is only a secret dedicated secretly for practitioners. But the opportunity is open for each one of us, for all of us. As soon as we continue believing that we are good people, we won't enter, never ever, in the secret path. If we honestly and seriously want to enter into the secret path, to finally achieve someday the authentic freedom, the self-realization of our inner being, is necessary to delete, to eliminate this false and wrong belief, this false and wrong concept about ourselves. Alright? Have we seen how our society is currently? How this mankind is doing things currently? Do we honestly believe that we live in a paradise? Talking about our Earth planet. We are the worst of this solar system, to be honest with you. We are the worst mankind of all mankinds that exist in our entire solar system. We are nothing in this galaxy. There are real, honest, and serious civilizations that are living in the rest of the planets of our solar system. they are powerful people. And instead of believing they are nice people, they are great people, just because they built real paradises in their planets, they are very humble people. Simple mankinds. Sincere, nice, humble mankinds. But in contrast to it, we believe that we are good people. With all this corruption, wars, infrasexuality, murders, rapes, lies, all this degeneration never seen before in our Earth planet, and still we do believe we are good people? That just by belonging, or yes, by belonging and a specific spiritual belief, we are already saved? If we don't believe sooner than later, our ego, without justifications, without excuses, will continue dying deceived. And that's the worst that can happen to us. Alright? Let's analyze more details. Some details more about fanatics. An authentic esoteric worker follow himself, but a fanatic person only likes to follow a master. We've been insisting here in the need, in the urgency to follow ourselves, because the objective wisdom is inside of each one of us, inside of the ego we carry inside from several hundreds of human existences before. If we delete the ego, we'll release our own wisdom, and we'll comprehend sooner than later that the correct mindset is to follow ourselves instead of following others. Alright? We do have our own inner being. That's why it is not right, it is wrong, totally wrong, to continue only following masters. Obviously, they do have their own merits. We should respect them, obviously. That's true. That's a reality. We should respect them. But there are a lot of false and wrong masters. People that appear apparently as authentic masters, but they are not. They are not authentic and real masters. If we release our own consciousness, which is currently trapped inside of each one of our psychological defects through psychological death, working inside with our own Divine Mother, will release the intuition to know who is a real master and who is not. But the most important thing here is that if we, with authentic perseverance, discipline, and applying the correct techniques, will become ourselves authentic masters. The authentic esoteric worker is only the one that follows himself. But unfortunately, fanatics only like to follow a master. They don't like to practice due to laziness inside of them. Right? Number two, they like to read a lot. Too much. They don't like to practice. Instead of practicing, they do prefer reading. They memorize too many details, names, complicated terms, strange words to impress, to appear as real masters and as people that have honestly and apparently authentic and real knowledge. Any one of us may read many books, but the authentic, the objective information is in the higher dimensions of the universe and basically inside of each one of us. Greek culture taught to us something unique. They wrote down, "Man, know yourself, and you shall know the rest of the universe and its gods." And we haven't understood it. We haven't analyzed it due to our ego, due to our beliefs, wrong and false beliefs. We don't like practice. Unfortunately, when somebody tells us that it's necessary and urgent to delete our ego, start excuses, start justifications. Ego is the cause of our entire sufferings. If we delete ego, we'll feel seriously and objectively what does happiness mean. What does happiness mean? Okay, delete our ego. Delete the ego, and we know ourselves and the rest of the universe. Number two, they don't like practitioners. Three, they like only rituals. They live with others' experiences. And in fact, they talk about others' experiences without comprehending them. Right? They just repeat as parrots. That's it. And that's all. Because as it's been told, they are only followers. Right? And if we don't believe, if we don't control this psychological effect inside of each one of us, and better than that, if we don't delete it, we'll be here. Sooner than later, we'll be here. Alright? They affirm things that they have not proved yet. They affirm things that haven't lived they criticize and judge others' lives too much, continuously, right? They only like debates. Authentic practitioners don't need to debate with anyone. They don't need to get into a fight, intellectual fight, to defeat anyone else. They only say 1, 2, 3 things, the things that are necessary to say in a specific moment, and that's all. They don't argue with anyone. They just establish and say their own point of view, and that's all. Also, they only talk about tragedies and cataclysms. Right? They just talk about tragedies and cataclysms. That's it. They always think that they are okay. Usually, they ask for money to give their information, their teachings. They ask for money for spreading or sharing or giving their information. When we talk about spiritual matters, honestly, seriously, there is no money to pay authentic spiritual informations. We cannot put price for a specific and vital information about all these matters, right? This is not a business. This is an urgency for the rest and for the whole mankind. This is for the poor and the rich, no matter what, without exception, right? Always asking for money. With the excuse that they need to live with something or of something. No. In my case, I give these conferences, not only in English, in other languages, for free, physically and virtually, but only in my free time, okay? During the rest of the day, I work as a teacher in my physical life to get my physical money, all right? To pay my bills, to pay the rent, to pay my food, etc., etc., right? I work as a teacher usually physically here. And on weekends, at nights, on weekdays, I spread all this information. I give all this information for free, physically and virtually. There is no price to pay all this information. They believe they are safe only by believing. That is another detail. So these are some details to understand them better and to detect them better, not only to understand them better and to understand ourselves better, because All of us, as I already said to you during the very beginning of this conference, all of us, without exception, do carry this specific psychological defect inside of each one of us. So through this information, probably it'll be easier for us to detect our fanaticism inside. And each time we detect these fanatic defects, please ask for our particular Divine Mother to delete it, in order to delete the trapped virtue inside of this psychological defect, which is the practitioner. It's necessary to become ourselves in practitioners sooner than later. Remember, envy and laziness are the two basic causes, the two original causes of fanaticism. Right? As it's been told, they like to debate everywhere and anywhere. Cafeterias, outdoors, anywhere and everywhere. We are not here to debate because it creates resentments, rancors, even hates. In a debate, there will be always winners and losers. And that is not the idea. The purpose here, the goal here for us is to advance together in our own self-realization, in our secret path, but together as a team. Alright? Now, if we don't control, if we don't delete, sooner than later, the psychological effect, there will be the temptation of becoming ourselves in a mythomania. Let's analyze mythomania. These are the also called false masters, fake masters, spiritual masters. Every single fake master needs fanatics. He or she needs followers, right? They need power. They need to feel themselves as incredible people. Authentic masters, real authentic spiritual masters, are absolutely humble. They don't like followers. They don't like fanatics. They are not even interested in believers. Alright? But unfortunately, if we don't control ourselves in relation with our own fanaticism, there is a huge possibility of falling down into this second stage. Mythomania is a reality nowadays in our society, all around the world without exception. Not only in Europe, not only in America, not only in Central America, not only in Asia, not only in South America, but everywhere. Alright? Literally, all these fake masters, they dream that they are already hierarchies, spiritually. They dream themselves are dressing white suits, for example, or white dresses with gold lines, talking to the public worldwide. They literally dream in the fifth dimension of the world, which is the molecular world, that they are already authentic masters. They go to that astral world, to that fifth dimension, in which we are every single night at night when we fall asleep. But unfortunately, due to their own ego, and nature of ego is molecular, and right there is our own ego. Just because they dream they are apparently already masters, hierarchies, when they open their eyes in this third dimension of the universe, they think about themselves, okay, I am already a master, I'm already a hierarchy, and we have no idea honestly how delicate this fifth dimension is. We should learn to be prudent, because right here in this fifth dimension is our ego. And our ego may convince us that we are masters, that we are good people. And there is a symbolism to learn to understand in the fifth dimension, the astral symbolism. Right? But unfortunately, many mythomaniacs believe themselves they are already initiates. All around the world, in Australia, America, South America, there are many Jesus incarnated. Literally, many people that say they are Jesus, incarnated already. Incredible but true. No. Or even some Buddhas. They say they are the incarnation, for example, of Samael Aun Weor. Several of them say they are already Master Zoroaster, etc., etc. Master Jesus do exist. Master Buddha does exist. Master Samael Aun Weor does exist. Exactly the same with Master Zoroaster. One different thing is that any one of us believe that we are any one of them. As we are not gods. We are the worst of this entire universe. Firstly, we should delete our ego. It makes us believe that we are good, nice, incredible people, when honestly and in reality we are nothing? Have we created a paradise on this earth planet to believe we are good people, we are nice people? Haven't we seen that our earth planet is almost destroyed? That we are going straight to the abyss if we continue as we've been doing recently? Haven't we seen the reality? Not yet. It is possible to awake our own consciousness, but firstly, is necessary to delete the different subjective elements. The different psychological defects, all those weaknesses that in fact we do carry inside. All the pride, all the fanaticism, all the mythomania, all the envy, all those worries, all those anxieties, all those fears that create all that called ego. Hallucinations are something typical of the ego, and hallucinations are something common in the world of the dreams, also called the eternity, the same fifth dimension. All those fake masters have dreamed that they are already initiates, that they are already self-realized, that they already got their own authentic freedom, their own self-realization, when they haven't realized it yet. Unfortunately, all these fake masters create many organizations, many groups about these matters. Also called pseudo esoteric groups with the appearance of esoteric schools. They deceive too much people all around the world. That's why they create the recurrence for next human existences. At the same time, the pseudo-esoteric psychological defects. The pseudo-esoteric psychological defect. They ask you for money. Many times they commit sexual harassment as well. And this is a reality. I'm not telling anything that is not true. They rape people. They rape women. And also they may rape men. So they create the recurrence in your destiny for next human existence, for next existence. And at the same time, due to the reality, to the root that they put in your psyche, called the pseudo-esoteric psychological effect. That's why it's necessary to learn to detect them. Alright? All those fake masters need fanatics for sure. And we love to follow, we love following, and we enjoy following masters. That strange behavior of each one of us. We are hypnotized without exception. If we don't want to continue like that, it's necessary to delete the ego. It hypnotizes us continuously, from instant to instant. They are brilliant, all these mythomaniacs. They are brilliant for some months or even for some years. But then they disappear like this. Letting all these people, all their followers, their fanatics, their believers alone. Without the correct orientation. That's also called betrayal. We don't like followers here. I already told you that. I don't want to bother you. I don't want to be aggressive, for sure, with anyone, with no one of you. I don't want to be aggressive here. But I honestly need to tell you the truth. Follow yourself. We'll give here and we'll continuously here giving the different tips, the clues, the techniques to learn to follow ourselves. That's the most important thing, because all of us, without exception, have our own inner master. We should prepare ourselves to become authentic spiritual masters. The opportunity is absolutely open for all of us, without exception. But obviously we need to practice. We must practice, in fact, if we want to become ourselves these real masters, authentic spiritual masters. Practice makes perfect. Reading makes intellectuals, fanatics, and finally mythomaniacs. Thank you very much for attending again to this conference. Have a nice day. Have an amazing day. And if there is any question, doubt about it, please feel free to write it down here in the comments, and shortly I will respond to you. Bye.